And so you're going to
The
speak
title
in.
of the picture is "The Past Becomes Present." The framing question is the first question about what are the creative ways that people are finding in the midst of the economic hard times.
Thank you.
The next question, describe what you see in the picture. So there are two houses that are really close together with a fence that divides the lot. So it's a single-family home. But in the space in between those two houses, which is not even 10,
Right.
15 feet of distance between the two houses, there's a clothesline. And it's empty right now. The pins are just on the line ready for action. But there's also the morning sun that's shining in that space.
You want to translate for it?
Yeah. So el título de esa foto es que el pasado vuelve a ser el presente. Y lo que es la segunda pregunta, la segunda ronda de preguntas, la primera de cuáles son las maneras creativas que la gente está encontrando para funcionar en este momento. Y qué está aquí, que hay dos casas que están cerca, que hay como 15 pies de distancia entre una casa y otra. Y en ese pequeño espacio se ha puesto una línea para tender la ropa. Y que no hay ropa ahí en este momento, pero está como lista, ¿verdad?
Que dividen el presente y el pasado.
Que es el pasado. En mi título se trata de prácticas del pasado, de poner la ropa a secar en la línea, porque todo el mundo ahora usa máquinas. Hasta hay, yo no podría imaginar eso en el patio enfrente, porque hay regulaciones que limitan esa capacidad.
Yo tengo mi amiga.
So one of the things that she was confused about this term, the past becomes present, and somehow was thinking that it was something different, and I was explaining that it's a practice of the past. But that the challenge is that you can't just put this practice anywhere you want to because of the rules of kind of the neighborhood association kind of rules, right? You can't have a sunny spot in your front yard. You can't put the photo on the line in the front yard in the neighborhood like where I've seen this photo taken, so where this photo was taken. So anyway, solo eso. So continuing with question number 5, what's really happening here? This is a way that families develop to reduce their energy costs, especially by not running their clothes dryer during. We have a lot of season of the year that you can actually use that clothesline. So it's a good way to not have the utility cost of, and so that's what's really happening. Number 6, why does this situation concern our strength
Exist.
That's a big word. Why does the situation concern our strength exist? So I said it's a strength, not a problem, drawing from practices of the past to conserve energy and reduce costs, to make optimal use of space, and to care for creation. And number 7, how does this relate to our lives? We need to learn from these practices of the past because they're based on principles that we need now. And those practices of the past, I'm referring to like Depression era, people who needed to be able to make their lives function with very little money, and that you used every resource that was available to you, including the sun to dry your clothes. So, but we need that now, not just because we have little money, but because the environmental consequences of the ways that we've lived our lives. What can we do about it? Well, that's where you run into all these rules, but certainly to the extent possible, find ways that we can, create these spaces where people can have shared clotheslines and things like that. Lisa said that she's got one that she shares with her friend. ¿Tiene usted una línea que comparte con una amiga?
No, mi amiga vive en el mismo área que yo vivo, pero ella tiene patio para atrás. Entonces ella, su esposo ya tiene como aproximadamente unos 5 meses que no trabaja. Ella trabaja en la Universidad de Maryland y ella cuando se van los estudiantes ella va a descanso por 3 meses. Entonces como ahorita solo ella está recibiendo cheque. Entonces lo que está haciendo ella para economizar, para tener su renta, ella lava en su tina la ropa y la saca a tender a Julio.
So she has a friend who's got a patio in the back, who lives in the same apartment complex where she lives. And her friend's husband hasn't had a job for a really long time. And she works at the University of Maryland, but when the university is closed for the summer, she doesn't have a job. So the way that they are managing to conserve money is she washes her clothes by hand in a big tina, a big pan, metal pan, and she hangs the clothes on the line in the patio.
Nice. Elizabeth, can I see your picture again? So these two houses aren't sharing this line.
No.
Yeah,
It's
it
not
looks
a
like
shared
it's,
space.
yeah, it looks like it's one that's fenced
It's
in on one side. Yeah.
It's one single family house.
So one of the things that
But I
you,
mean, I
It
would
could.
bet that it could be done,
Yeah.
it's just that the fence was there when the line got.
hmm It's a beautiful picture, the way the sunlight's hitting, and it's in the morning, you say?
Mhm.
So one of the things you said, we should all jump in here. One of the things you said that was compelling to me, matter of fact, it's the title. What is it? The
Past becomes present.
Right. And you talked about the old ways of doing things,
Mhm.
Depression era. And what it sparked in me, and this is something we've talked about before, and we discovered it, I think, mostly when we were on Maple Avenue, is what are the practices that they aren't necessarily practices that happen during crisis, but they are just like the way people be, particularly folks from all over the world who are here that are they take less energy, they don't cost as much to act, right? And they build community all at the same time, right? And those things that could help folks make it in a time when there's lack of jobs. I mean, it gets back to this, what creative ways? And I'm just wondering, if there's